everyone, thanks for joining me. Today I'm going to show you how to create a word design like this, or any design like this, where your colors are kind of spread out but you don't want to lose that placement. However, on the other hand, you don't want to waste the HTV. For instance, if I just wanted to cut all this black out and I wanted to make sure everything was lined up, I could attach all that, but then I would have all this wasted space in here. So I'm going to show you how to make the most of your design in design space so that you use the least amount of heat transfer vinyl or iron-on. And then I'm going to show you a couple tricks when I use my heat press that I think will help a lot of you. For this one, we're going to make a Christmas towel. So I'm just going to go to Upload Images, Upload Image, Browse. You're going to navigate to where your file is that you want to use, and mine is right here. I'm going to click Open. You can tag it. I'm going to tag it "Tis the Season." I'm going to tag it Love SVG so that I remember where it came from. Remember, if you download any of their files, these are not for items that you can sell unless you buy the commercial license. I'm going to name it Holly, and I'm going to click Save. We're going to click on it. It's going to be the first one right here in our uploaded images library. Go down here to the lower right and click Insert Images. All right, here it is. Now the first thing I want to do is size this. So I'm going to go over to the Edit panel, and I know I want my finished design to be about 5.5 inches wide. All right. Now while it's still selected, we're going to go up here and click Copy, Paste. Awesome. Move this one over here. Let's look at the Layers panel. This was the one that's highlighted, so all these layers make up this design. And I'm going to cut this out in a piece of cardstock. So I'm just going to weld this one all together. And what that's going to do is take all these separate layers and put them into one layer. So watch the Layers panel. There it is. That's all those layers that was this is now on one layer. So I'm just going to click on it right here and just change this to a random color. And I'm just going to change it to, well, let's do something more obvious. Let's just change it to this peach color. So peach is going to be my cardstock. Now, this one over here is what we're going to use to cut the vinyl. You want to be careful you don't resize anything accidentally here. We're going to click on it, right click, ungroup. Now, if I just sent this to Design Space to cut right now, it's going to like put the T somewhere and the H somewhere and the E, but they're not necessarily going to be together because they're not welded together or attached. So there are some of these things I want to stick together. So I'm going to select this "tis" and the quotation mark up there, apostrophe, I guess that would be called, and I'm going to right click and attach. And that's going to keep at least that much of it together. And I'm going to do the same with the attach. We can move it out of our way. Season's just one layer because that's welded together. So you can see that's, we don't need to worry about that. We have these two pieces. I don't need those to be welded. And we have this jolly. So I'm going to click on the jolly. I'm going to hold my Shift key and click on the J. Right click and attach. And that's going to keep that word together. And I want to do the same with "to be." Select those. Right click, attach. Perfect. And this flower, if we look over in our Layers panel, is made up of all these different layers. So again, I'm just going to attach those together. And you can just weld them if you want. Let's just weld it. Perfect. Okay, so now let's take this "tis the season" and let's just make it as close together as we can so that we don't waste any vinyl. So this now, when I cut this, I only need a piece of vinyl that is roughly, let's see, 5 inches by 4.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is draw a box around these, right click, and attach. That's going to keep that all together. And I'm going to use as little space as possible. Now I'm going to leave my red flower alone. I'm going to put these as close together as I can. All right, select both of those, right click and attach. And so I only need a piece of a green vinyl that is roughly, let's see, 1.5 inches by 3. So I'm really going to save a lot of space. Let's hit go and see what we have. Okay, I have my green vinyl, and you can see I need a piece that is roughly 2 by 3. But we're going to mirror this, so let's mirror that. Okay, and we can place that anywhere we want. I'm going to put it down here in this lower corner. All right, let's see. This is our black layer, and we need it. You can write these down if you want. It looks like it's 4.5 by 5. And we need to mirror it. Should still be 4.5 by 5, and I'm going to put that down in this corner. Perfect. Let's go to this one. Click mirror. And you can see you only need a little tiny red scrap there for that. And go to this one. And this one we don't need to mirror. We want this one to cut out just like that. And again, this one's going to be cut in cardstock. So we're going to cut this in the green vinyl. It's mirrored. The black vinyl, it's mirrored. The red, mirrored. And this is the cardstock, not mirrored. So go ahead and cut these out, and then I'm going to show you some tips for putting this back together and lining it up. So my first tip is, you'll notice the top of my heat press is white. This is my Teflon sheet, and I have just used magnets to stick it to the top of this. And that's just so that I'm not constantly wrestling or forgetting to use it. It's always on there. I never mess with it. I just have it. It's not the most attractive, but it works well. I just have some little magnets around the side. You can see some on top. So that works really well for me. My first tip for you is when you're weeding, take it over to your heat press. Put the top down for just a second. I almost always have my heat press set on 305. And that's going to make this platen really warm. Now put your vinyl down and just let it sit there for just a second. And this is a tip I learned from Ken Hess from Ken's Creations. And I believe he learned it from Sizer. But it makes it so easy to weed when you just let a little bit of heat loosen up that adhesive. Perfect weeding. Done. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2. This is what I'm going to be pressing. This is just a tea towel or a flour sack, some people call them. I bought these at Walmart, and I always pre-press my garments, whether it's a t-shirt, a towel, a bib, an apron, whatever I'm doing. Pre-press it. What that does is take the moisture out of the fabric, which will make for a longer staying transfer. And then I always fold it in half. This is folded in half. And even if it's a shirt, I fold it in half long ways because I want to create a press right along that center line. And make sure it's on both ends. And then you're going to put it down. Your heat press should be kind of hard to push down. See that? It takes 2 hands on mine. I can loosen it up, but the more pressure, the better you're going to get. And you only need to pre-press for just a couple seconds. So that's pre-pressed. Okay, now I'm going to open this up. And now I have a nice center line. So I actually am going to put this on the bottom edge. So let's turn it around this way. I've already pre-pressed this, but so you're going to put your bottom edge down here, and now you have a nice straight line that you know where the center is. Okay, now I'm going to take my biggest word. I'm going to take my template, and I'm going to fold my template in half. All right, now I'm going to line those center marks up with my towel. See that? All right, here's my biggest word, and I just like to start with the biggest word because it's the simplest. It's easy to get everything centered. And now, and when you fold this in half, you want to make sure you're folding the design in half, not the paper. So, see your design? Those are my two widest points, are the little fern leaves. So I just want to double check that, make sure I use those for my center points. Okay. Now, I'm going to place it about where I want it, and I'm going to line up my transfer with my template. Well, that's perfect, so I just put that down. And you can give it a quick, you don't even have to lock it, just a little press just to hold it in place. I'm going to leave that right there. All right, now I'm going to line that back up, and I can put my jolly on there. You don't want to overlap your transfer paper, so like do a top and a bottom. And now I can line this up with my template, and then I'm not trying to guess where these go. I can get it just the way the artist designed it. Okay, now I am going to put it down, lock it for about 3 or 4 seconds. All right, now I can remove those 2 pieces. Looking good. Okay, let's get those out of our way. We use our template, line it back up, and I'm going to put the in. That goes right there. Put my flower on. There we have it. It's perfectly lined up. There's our little tea towel. And we used as little vinyl as we had to. If we had not done it the way we did and just cut this out, we would have had all this extra vinyl being wasted through here, through there, up here. So this way we got it just the way the artist intended it to be. And we saved vinyl. Again, always pre-press your fabric. Put a center crease so that you get a nice center line. You can press that back out. It doesn't stay in there forever. But these are my tips. I hope you enjoyed. See ya. Bye. Once again, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe so that you can see more quick tips, tricks, and tutorials with Lori. Thanks. Bye.